My name is Paulette De La Rosa. I am the founder, pastry chef at the Whirling Whisk baking company.
And how would you describe your personality?
I would describe myself as funny, a bit goofy at times, and stubborn.
How would your friends describe you?
They would definitely say I'm bossy. I don't agree with the word bossy. I think I'm more, I know what I want, so.
Now, you work with your family, your mom in particular, so
Yes.
How is that, especially if you are bossy?
My mom's really easygoing, so in a way, she'll go along with what I say, which is really good. But then you get my dad into the mix. And my dad, he's as well really bossy, so he'll come into the shop and he'll criticize, he'll look over my shoulder and tell me, oh, that looks funny, or he'll be eating a cinnamon bun, and as he's eating the cinnamon bun, he's telling me, this is so dry, as he eats 10 of them.
Okay. What is your best and worst quality?
My best quality would have to be that I'm resilient. No matter how many times I fall on my face, I get back up and I fight for what I want. Mm-hmm. And my worst quality would have to be my temper. Sometimes I have like my little freakouts, but after a couple of minutes, I reevaluate the situation and then I apologize to whoever I yelled at the time.
So I'm hearing bossy, I'm hearing temper. Got a lot going on there, Paulette. All right. If you have watched any of the previous Cake Boss seasons, what cast members do you most relate to?
I relate the most to Buddy because he's the boss of his shop. He works with his family. And it's funny watching the show and seeing how his relationship with his sister Mary is. I mean, they love each other. Mm-hmm. They're really close, but then at work, they bicker back and forth, and that's actually how my dad and I are at work. At least my dad hasn't painted my bake shop pink. She has.
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right, let's talk about your background and your experience. You have a baking shop, your schooling. Explain all that.
Well, I started out in the industry when I was 18. I started working out as a hostess at an Italian restaurant. And one day the chef came up to me and asked me if I was interested in working the pantry station. I'm not sure why, but he did. And I went back there and I worked. And it was a lot of fun. It was probably one of the funnest jobs I've ever had.
Okay.
And I fell in love with his tiramisu. He made the best tiramisu in the world. Like, he would have only one piece left for the rest of the service at that night, and I would go into the cooler with my fork and I'd grab the hotel pen and I'd be eating my cooler and eating the tiramisu, and all of a sudden he'd come in and he'd be like, Pauletta, what are you doing? I'd be like, deer in headlights, and I'd turn around and be like, it's so good, chef, it's so good. Thank goodness he liked me, so he let me slide. And then after that, I decided to go to culinary school when I moved to Florida. And I was almost finished with the program there. I only had 3 classes left, and I took a baking class there. And that was the day I fell in love with baking. And after taking that class, I made the decision of quitting school and transferring to another culinary school, which is the New England Culinary Institute, and focusing on bacon and pastry.
Okay. So, specific genres, like food or desserts, that you like to bake or cook? Some of your favorites?
My favorites would have to be cakes. I love to make cakes. And also, I like to make, now all of a sudden, everybody's into cupcakes. Cupcakes is a really big thing. Mm-hmm. And I like to make cream-filled cupcakes with, different combinations. I make a banana cupcake filled with chocolate pudding, and then topped off with coconut meringue. I mean, it's amazing. It's called Cocoa Monkey. It's really good.
Okay, I'm writing that one down just so you know. Now, I know we've talked about scones a little bit. Is that the one you least like to make?
I like bacon cheddar scones.
Okay.
I mean, what's not good with bacon? I love bacon, but the berry scones, I'm not a big fan.
Would you say that's the baking that you hate?
Yeah, that kind of baking.
Okay. Creative in the kitchen. I would say you are. Would you say you are?
I think I'm very creative in the kitchen.
Okay. And when it comes to how creative are you, your designs when baking? Give us some examples.
Well, designs when baking, I don't go into like very elaborate designs. I don't have roller coasters going through my cakes, things like that. But I stick to more just simple. Sometimes I'd like to step out of the box and I see things on TV, and I try things out and I do a lot of practicing.
Okay.
But sometimes I just get to the point that it looks so much cooler in my head. So when the result's done, I'm like, that's not what it was supposed to look like, but it still turned out really good.
Okay. All right. Tell us anything interesting, any interesting details about yourself or anything that makes you stand out, like wacky jobs or hobbies or interests.
Well, one of my hobbies that I picked up when I turned 30, I decided I went to a crisis. I'm 30, I'm boring. I decided to pick up knitting. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I decided to pick up knitting.
Why knitting?
Just, I don't know. I'm not sure. My mom was taking knitting classes with her friends, and I'm like, oh, why not? I'm going to join them and start taking knitting classes.
How often do you knit?
Oh, I don't knit anymore. That was that was a really short-lived hobby. And the one thing that does make me stand out is I've been in business for only a year. I don't have any business background, anybody really guiding me, and I've accomplished so much. I have my line of baking mixes at Bloomingdale's. I'm opening up, I'm reopening my bake shop since I had to move to another location. And it's just, for a year to have this kind of accomplishment, I think that really says something about a person.
It does. And it says a lot about your support system, too.
Yeah, I do have very good support systems, but my parents.
The ones who you boss around.
Yeah, the ones I boss around, except for my dad. I can't boss him around too much. He gets mad.
All right. You said you like to wear makeup even if you're in the kitchen, so please explain that.
I like to wear makeup because it's just when you wake up in the morning, when you put on, I like to call it the face. You put on your face and it just makes you feel good. I don't know. For me, it just makes me feel good to try to look nice. Even though I am working in the kitchen, I don't put on a lot of makeup. I don't want to look like I own stock in Mary Kay or anything like that. But I like to look nice. And also, I am single. So, who knows if Prince Charming is going to be walking through that door. And if he sees me with crazy hair, no makeup on, he's not... he's going to be like, oh, that's later. That's in the later stages when they can see your crazy hair.
So it's all about the Prince Charming. Yeah. Okay. Forget all the rest. That's what it's really about. Gotcha. Now, Paulette, where do you get your recipes?
Recipes, I get them from either family, cookbooks. I love to collect cookbooks and look through them. And then also my mom and I. My mom, she's a cook. It's like she loves, savory, that's her thing. And we like to bounce off different ideas from each other and then take a base of a recipe and just, keep testing and change things.
Okay, that's the nice PC answer.
Yeah.
I want to know about your mom and how she sneaks the ingredients.
Oh, yeah. She does do that to me. She does sneak the ingredients in there without me looking because I am sometimes a little stubborn in that sense that I don't want to change things. And she does. Then afterwards, if it turns out really nice, she'll tell me, she'll say to me, oh, well, I added blah, 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 but then if it doesn't turn out good, she doesn't say anything. She just tells me, she says, I don't know what happened.